The wind whipped through the scrubland, whistling a tune of lonely desolation. Kai, a boy of 10 with hair the color of sun-bleached wheat, sat atop a rocky outcrop, his eyes scanning the horizon for any sign of movement. His sheep grazed peacefully below, oblivious to the drama unfolding in his heart. He'd been telling stories of wolves for weeks, each tale more elaborate than the last. His parents, weary of his pronouncements, had begun to ignore him. He was a master of embellishment, exaggerating every rustle of leaves, every shadow that stretched long and menacing in the afternoon sun. Today, boredom gnawed at him. The sheep looked content, the sun beat down relentlessly, and the only sound was the echo of his own thoughts. An idea, mischievous and alluring, took root in his mind. "Wolf!" he bellowed, his voice carrying far across the empty landscape. He added a theatrical sob for good measure. "Help! It's attacking my sheep!" From the village below, a flurry of activity. Men and women, their faces etched with worry, rushed towards the hill, their voices a chorus of concern. They arrived breathless, weapons clutched in their hands, only to find Kai laughing hysterically, his sheep grazing peacefully. Their anger was palpable, the air thick with disappointment. They chastised him, their words sharp and cutting, reminding him of the consequences of lying. Kai, his laughter now fading, felt the sting of shame prick his skin. Days went by, the memory of his deceit a heavy weight on his heart. One morning, he watched, horrified, as a real wolf emerged from the bushes, its eyes glinting with predatory hunger. His heart pounded in his chest, fear constricting his throat. "Wolf!" he cried, his voice thin and weak. "Wolf!" But his cries were lost in the wind. The villagers, jaded by his previous lies, paid no heed. They remained in their homes, oblivious to the real danger unfolding on the hill. Kai, his small frame trembling, watched in mute horror as the wolf closed in on his sheep. His tears fell, a silent testament to the pain of his own making. He had cried wolf, and in doing so, he had lost not just the trust of his village, but also the protection they could have offered. The sun set, the shadows lengthening across the barren land, casting a long and lonely shadow upon the boy who had cried wolf. He had learned his lesson, but at a terrible cost. The price of lies, he realized, was not just the loss of trust, but also the loss of safety, the loss of innocence, and the loss of a chance to be heard when it truly mattered.